Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning Lawland. Hashtag Friday Feels. It's all about living a life you love. We've got a joy seeker herself in the house. Shannon Kaiser, thanks so much for being here.
It's so great to be here. Thank you.
Congratulations, you're a #1 best-selling author. Yep. And we're so excited. Rumor has it there's an Audible book coming for
Yes,
this.
I was actually in LA this week recording the audiobook for Joy Seeker that comes out in about a month. So I'm fresh with all the content. It's up here. I just read it all.
Awesome. So what was your journey to becoming the joy seeker that you are?
Well, this is actually a really special year for me. This is my 10-year anniversary, where 10 years ago I was diagnosed with clinical depression, and I was suffering from eating disorders and also drug addiction. And at that time, I read an article about how dogs can help with depression. And I was sitting in the doctor's office, and I was like, wait a second. Maybe there's a way for me. So I actually adopted a dog. His name was Tucker. He was a rescue dog, and he changed everything for me. And I found self-love. I changed careers. I started writing and coaching. And about 2 years ago, he died. And it's devastating when a pet dies. They are family, right? And so it really changed everything. And I went on an inner journey where I realized I have to learn how to find happiness without relying on anything outside of me. I have to go in.
So where'd you start with that?
Well, actually, I started doing research. Do you guys like research?
Love research. They love research.
Me, I found a study that was done in the UK, and it was the top regrets of the dying. Maybe you've seen it. And the #1 regret is I wish I would have lived a life true to myself, not one others expected of me. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've been living for everyone else. And I really realized that so many of us are doing that. And it was at that point where I said, well, I asked myself this question, changed everything. What have you always wanted to do, but have never given yourself permission to do? And my inner voice said, travel the world. So I set out for a full year to travel. And I went to 18 countries, and I didn't even know it would turn into a book. And I didn't even know that it would turn into what the joy of life really is. And I learned the true meaning of connection. And really, it's about authentic living.
Wow. I love that. I mean, obviously, live your truth is, for me, the highest of the highest. And I think that finding truth, I didn't even know, like, years back, like, what is truth and how do I have a truth versus whatever. And, you know, I imagine out there traveling around the world, what was that like for you? How did you see the world, and how did that help you find your truth?
You know, it's interesting because it was a solo trip. And I think being on a solo trip, I started the trip. I need to go see the Eiffel Tower. I need to check all the things off my bucket list. I'm going to live for me. And as I did that, it actually felt kind of superficial. And I said, wait a second, what I really want, and what is it about travel that I really want? And it's what I was looking for was more connection and more meaning and more purpose. And so that was a pivotal moment in my journey where I started to travel with purpose. And it led me to China to work with a Golden Bond as a rescue organization, to work with rescuing dogs from the meat trade. And that, to not just travel is one, but the real travel we do is on the inside of us. And the travel that I took inward led me to realize what life is about. It's about giving back. It's about making a difference. It's about stepping up and living your values. I love the theme of today. My value is freedom. It's meaning. It's connection. And I was able to finally live those. And it led me to actually rescue the dogs. We bring them, escort them back to America, and brought them to Seattle. And I fostered one and ended up falling in love. And so it's funny how my whole entire journey ended with rescuing a rescue dog named Chance for a second chance at life.
Oh, what a story.
So fantastic, right?
I was like, oh, okay, the travel, it all comes back together. And that's really what joy seeking is about. That's what I went on a journey. The book takes people through a journey, but really it's about being who we're meant to be in this world. And we all have that thing. I think most of us are chasing like the success. I thought traveling the world, the biggest dream in my heart for decades, was going to make me happy. But it was actually an inside shift. Happiness is the peace within. True success is knowing who you are. And
Happiness from inside out.
Yeah, I just love that so much.
And actually yesterday on your Instagram, I saw that you said, you don't have to become extraordinary.
Yes.
You already are extraordinary. And I was like, go like this, because that's really what it's about. We're chasing this elusive version of ourselves, this there that we think is in the next raise, the next job, the next dream coming true.
That's right.
But it's in here.
It's such a great point. You know, I remember reading years and years ago before I could properly understand it. I think it was Thich Nhat Hanh. He said something like, until you lose hope in hope, like until you become totally hopeless that the world can satisfy you or fulfill you, you'll always be unhappy.
Yes.
And I just found that so difficult at the time. But now, after having had a couple of peak experiences,
Yes.
and you see through them and you realize, oh my gosh, it's great, it's nice,
Right.
I'll take it.
Yes.
But ultimately, at the end of the day, that's not where happiness lives.
And that's the whole thing. The peak experiences is what we've been conditioned to chase. That's what culture, society, our family even teaches us. And I learned, really, that's not it. It's really is the journey. And the most important part is choosing joy in each moment. And I found that joy is not outside of us. We bring it to each situation. It's within us.
So awesome.
Shannon, thank you so much for sharing your joy and your truth with us. Please tell us where we can find and follow you.
Yes, playwiththeworld.com is my website, and on Instagram and Facebook, Shannon Kaiser Writes.
Just
All right.
fantastic.
Joy Seeker. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.